Hello again. Welcome to SmartGence training. So in this session, what we are going to do is, let us try creating a very simple record trigger flow. So firstly, for creating a flow, we have to navigate to setup and in quick find box. If we search for flows, it will be available under process automation. So I can click on this flows, right? So where we will be led to the page where we could see all the existing flows in our org. So yes, it is loading. Yes, as you could see, these are the existing flows available in our org. Okay, so to create a new flow, we need to click on this new flow, right? So here, yeah, firstly, we will be asked to select the type of flow which we are going to create right now. Yep, it is loading. Give it a second. Yeah, here as you could see, there are these five flow types which we have seen in the presentation in the previous session, right? So yeah, here as I could see, as I was saying, I'm going to create the record trigger flow right now, right? So let me click on this, and clicking on next, I'll be asked to select the how to start building this flow. So this auto layout, this is just a beta version. Let's try with the free form. So yeah, here we'll be seeing this first step, which will be start. So when I click on this edit, yeah, we can select when we want to trigger this flow and when the flow has to be run, right? So as you could see over here, we can trigger the flow when a record is created, updated, both created or updated, or deleted. Similarly, we can run the flow before the record is saved or after the record is saved. Okay, so what we are going to do right now is we have the job application object, right? So whenever a new job application record is being created, we are going to create a new task record. So task is again basically a standard object in Salesforce. So why that being used is we can assign the task is just a literal meaning. So when we create a task record and assign it to a user, so basically the user will be assigned to a task that has to be completed. Okay, so that is what task object is for, right? So since we are going to trigger this flow whenever a record is created, let me select this, and I'll have this after the record is saved to run the flow. Okay, so clicking on done, here we need to choose the object, right? So as said, we are going to do this for job application object. So let me select job application, and in case of any conditions to be met for this flow to be triggered, we can select those over here. If not, we can select this none over here, right? So let me do this done. Okay, then let me pull this action into the canvas. So this basically we call it as a canvas. So let me pull this action into canvas, and we are going to create a new action asset, right? So as I said, we are going to create a new task. So for that, in action, if we select, we'll be able to see this new task, correct? So I'm selecting this new task, and we just had to provide the label and API name for this particular action. So let me name this as task creation, right? If needed, we can also provide the description, and these are basically the fields available in the task object. So we can define this over here. So assign to ID is basically a compulsory field, so we have to select this for sure. What I'm going to do now is I'll just have this as that particular job application record which we are going to create, right? So that particular records created by ID. Okay, so I'm selecting that. So whoever be creating that particular record would be assigned to in this particular task record. Okay, right, let me have this as is, and what we can do is, yeah, we need to relay this particular task for that particular for this job application record, right? So we need to include this, and the related to ID should be that job applications record ID, right? So record, and if I search for ID, it will be available over here. So I've selected this record ID, right? Then subject, just for our our reference, I am going to name the subject as task created using flow. So this is just basically for our reference, okay, for the demo purpose, right? So let me do this. Okay, I am clicking on done. Then we have to just link these two, right? So what would happen is when this flow be started, this action would be executed. So let me save this. I am going to give this a name, job application task creation, right? So API name, let it be as is, and saving this. Right, so yeah, here is, you could see like run and debug, right? So run is basically we can just try to run this from here, But since this being a record triggered flow, we can't run this particular type of a flow using this run button. Whereas debug is like, in case of any issues, we can debug it over here. So like when we try to execute this particular flow, how it would this is basically it would debug the steps which are happening using this flow. So in case of such stuff needed, we can use this debug button, right? So let me activate this flow first. Right now this flow has been activated, right? So let me try creating a job application record. Navigating to job applications tab, right? So here I'm going to create a new job application record. So clicking on new, website name, let it be monster.com, position, project manager, status, let it be blank, and saving this. Right, so this record being saved, and you could see the task being created with the subject task created using flow, which we have provided over there. And yes, related to has been populated. And what else? Yeah, this has been assigned to John Doe. This is because the related to the created by is John Doe, so that is why the task has assigned to us John Doe. And you could see a couple of picklist fields being populated. So this basically are default values, and so that is why it has been populated just the default values. So this is how this is just a basic flow. Right, let me now quickly navigate to the flows again, and let me open an existing a complex flow comparatively, and let's see how it works. Okay, I'm not going to create a new complex flow, but let me show that particular flow, and I'll let you know how it works just for our information. Okay, right, so now let me navigate to this flows page. Okay, so setup, and in quick find searching for flows, yeah, it's coming up. So yes, this is the flow which we have created actually, which is a screen flow. Okay, so let me open this, and I'll just quickly show you how it has been configured and how it works out. Okay, so firstly, yeah, a screen flow, since this being a screen flow, we just don't need any trigger condition or stuff. So it will just start, and firstly we are getting the input using the screen element, like we are getting the first name and last name. Yeah, we'll get to know about how creating this screen element and stuff, but right now just focus on how we have configured this. Okay, you'd get to know how to configure right now you will just be able to get the flow of this particular flow which we are defined, but yeah, you will get to know how to create this flow. Okay, so yeah, we are getting this first name and last name, and yeah, here as you could see we are getting the records. So when I open this particular data element, get records, what we are getting is we are getting it from the object contact, and the filter condition we are putting out the last name field equals to the last name which we have seen in the previous screen element. Okay, so that is what we are doing over here. Then we are navigating to the decision. So decision, as said earlier, it is more like conditions. So what we are defined over here is we are going to see whether there are any duplicate contact with the same same last name which was provided in the screen over here. So what we are doing is we have provided some last name over here, right? Then we are getting some accounts, we are getting the contact records with the same last name. We are checking whether that particular is null. That particular we are getting records, right? So we are checking whether that particular set of records is null. So if it is null, then it means we don't have any we don't have any existing contact with with the same name, right? So that means there are no duplicates, correct? So if there are no duplicates, then we are going to create records. If not, then we are going to display a screen which states that already contact exists. Okay, so this is the flow. So right now you just need to understand what we have done over here. So we are getting input using a screen, then we are getting the records, then we are checking if there are any records with the same last name using this decision. If there are any duplicate contact records, then we are displaying error message. If there are no, then we are creating the records, right? So let's see how it works. I have placed this in the contact record page detail. We'll get to see about how doing that in a particular record detail page in the next session. So right now just what to say, I'll quickly show you how this works. Okay, don't worry about how this has came here and stuff like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me put the same, first name and last name as this user. Okay, so I'm copying rows and pasting it over here, and similarly Gonzalez, right, copying and pasting. So when I click on next, what it will do is this particular flow will get records from contact object if there are any records with the last name Gonzalez. So in this case, we already have this record, right? So it will get that record and have it in a in a bucket, right? Then in the decision, it will check what it is checking, whether the records we have get, right. So whether there are any records. So it is checking is null. Is null true, right? So this is null is false, correct? So it has records, so it is not null. So what it do is it will be flown to this particular screen. So which means, this particular screen will display this message as already contact exist. So let me click on next, and yeah, we are getting this already contact exist, right. So if we are going to put out a different last name than this user, which is not even existing for other contact records, then what would happen is it would automatically create a contact record using this particular flow element. Okay, so let me try creating one. Maybe what I'm going to do is Pamela, right, Beasley, right. So clicking on next, the record will be created. Let me go back to this contacts, and yeah, here it is Pamela Beasley. So this record has been created, right. So that is how this flow would work. Just don't worry about how we have placed this stuff and stuff like that. Yeah, right now you just it is sufficient just to understand what are the different elements and what are the purposes of different elements with this session. Thank you and happy learning.